am live with Ashlee. Hopefully we can get her on. Super excited about this because Ashlee has a lot to share, to talk with us about starting your own business and being an entrepreneur. See you. Great. Thanks so much.
Oh, yes.
I'm
Thanks for
I'm
having me.
I'm so honored that your first live is with me.
Oh, my mom just joined. Nice.
Oh,
Hi, Mom.
hi, Ashlee's mom. Oh, she's so proud of you. Yeah, you've done some great things. You know, one of my favorite things about you, Ashlee, is just what an advocate you are for other military spouses and how you're always cheering others on. I just really
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that.
you.
And I think that is just that's the spirit of a true military spouse.
Yes, 100%. We need each other.
Yes. So I'm just going to tell everybody a little bit about you. Feel free to correct me. So Ashlee has had her own business for 5 years.
hmm
Probably all of you that are on there know she sells the Totally Awesome t-shirts and paraphernalia for military spouses, military kids. They're super cute. They're really great quality and super soft. So she has owned her own business for 5 years. But she did rebrand it almost a year ago. So she's
Yes.
coming up on her
Coming
anniversary.
up on it pretty quick.
Yes. She and her husband have been married for 14 years, and he is Army, although he used to be Coast Guard, and I didn't know that about you.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can add a lot more to this military spouse space because you've worn two hats.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
and you have 4 children, and you manage to keep them all alive while running your own business, which is really impressive.
I'll give
So
myself a pat on the back for that one.
yes, absolutely. So Ashlee, I invited you on because I don't have much to add to the space when it comes to being an entrepreneur, but I know that you do. Um, so first of all, I wanted to ask, how did you get started with opening your own business?
So I know we only have like a
Yeah,
15-minute window. So I'm
because
like, what's the meat of it?
yes.
But my biggest driving force for starting a business was that we had $100,000 in student loan debt,
Okay.
among other your we'll say typical debt like a
Right.
home, cars, and things like that. And I just started staying home from teaching with my two of my boys, and I just had a fire lit in me that I wanted to help our family become debt free.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and that really was like the driving factor was yeah, I wanted to do that. I needed a bigger shovel. I didn't think that teaching was going to do it.
Yeah.
Um, I figured that, like I started to generate a list like, okay, so like what could I do or make what could I make for like a little less than what I could sell it for?
Yeah.
And because I've always been pretty
Yeah.
crafty, and yeah, I did a lot of like YouTube searching
Yeah.
and Google searching of like, examples of, businesses that you could start at home.
Okay.
And I mean, a ton of the search results were, I guess, what you would consider like MLMs, lots of like, you can run an oil business from home, you can run this from home. And
Yeah.
I wanted something that was mine,
Hmm.
and something where I could use my creative energy, I
Great.
guess.
And you use
um,
it so well.
so, well, so in the beginning, I kind of was like a Jack or Jane, I guess, of all trades, and I made everything. Like I had no niche
Okay.
really.
Well,
Um,
you've
and
done really well since you niched.
yes, oh my gosh, niching down, I'm not gonna lie, is scary. It's even scarier when you think about how small the military niche is actually, it's like a micro niche, is very
Yeah.
small. And my husband's my biggest cheerleader, but 100% when I was like, I'm rebranding and I'm only gonna serve the military community, he was like, are you sure about that? Are you like cutting off like, all your
Yeah.
limbs, like selling to
Yeah.
just one? And I'm like, no, I just know it. I
Yeah.
just know that like
Well,
I need to serve them.
and you live it. You focus. You're so focused in on it. You know what we need, and you know how to
Yes.
speak to us.
Yes, it's very I would say that niching down to something that you are living,
Hmm.
like you said, or like most familiar with or most passionate about, like you really can't go wrong
Yeah.
because you know you know who you're speaking to because it's you, or like a past version of
Well,
you,
and you're
a
in the
lost version of
trenches
you.
with us too. You
Hmm.
know. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, those trenches,
Yeah.
man.
So, I know you've given me some great information that I am going to put in a
Hmm.
post with basically Ashley's, like she gave me two top five lists about her advice on resources
Hmm.
for being an entrepreneur, and I'm going to share those. But um, quickly, could you give me like your number one top recommendation that if you were meeting with someone for coffee, what would you tell them to do to kind of get started on starting their own business?
Um, I
And
think
that's probably
that,
hard.
oh gosh, my number one tip would be probably to generate a list of things that you are genuinely passionate about,
Okay.
things that you do well
Yeah.
in, because you don't want to be doing something that you're not naturally like. There are some things like learning social media that like does not come natural to people. That's fine. You can learn those things, you know?
Yeah.
But like what lights a fire in you, like your true passions, who you truly
Yeah.
are, like you can't fake that.
Okay.
You really so I think that it all comes down to really like the idea generation, and also, and again, because I'm a very big proponent of no debt, like our family is debt free. And I just, yes, yeah,
That's
huge
awesome.
celebration.
Yeah. Huge
um,
accomplishment. You were $100,000 in debt, just
yes,
student debt. And then you had other debt. That's amazing.
yes. And people can really go into debt. And I think people think that they have to go into debt
Uh-huh.
to begin a business. And, you know, military families, you know, there are, you know, some, depending on when you join or what, you know, what you're how long you've been in, like that determines, you know, what that one source of income is. And a lot of us are living in one source of income. So it's
Right.
scary to think about like, well, how am I going to start a business? I can't even invest. You know, I think that's a lot of times why people kind of get, you know, like, oh, well, I only have to spend like $350
Yeah.
to buy this, you know, set of products from this big company and I can just turn around and sell them. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but you can actually have a higher ROI, like return of
Yes.
investment, if you start small and if you start strapped, because you're not fearing, you know, like going digging a debt hole. You're just
Yeah.
taking one thing that you love, that, and I would say that my expertise is product based businesses, so that's what I'm speaking for.
Okay.
um, but you take one thing that you love and you make it, and you price it just a little bit higher than what it cost you to make it.
Yeah.
But you find your ideal customer, they buy it from you, and guess what? You made $3. And then
Awesome.
you use those $3 and you turn it around and you do it again and you
Right.
do it again and you do it again. But you do not, my biggest advice is do not go into debt, because
Great advice.
you can't, nothing will douse your creativity and make you more scared to, you know, jump in than being
Debt.
that hard pressed strapped for
Yeah.
cash. So,
Super great
you know,
advice.
I got out of debt, but when I rebranded, I didn't do it with debt either. So it's
Yeah.
possible to do
Yeah.
it. Um,
Great.
yeah, probably my
Well,
biggest.
that's great advice. And I just think it's such wisdom. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk to you about, which is a
Mm.
reality when you're a military spouse, especially you have a product-based business. How do you navigate when you have to PCS and you've got all your product and your orders and filling orders? So how do you do that, and how do you kind of close down shop and then set up shop again?
So, right now, this is something I would say that I feel as though I'm definitely in the trenches. This next PCS cycle that we're in, which is going to be, you know, we're in that. Will
Yeah.
it be in a month? Will it be in 6 months? You know, that's the
Right.
window we're in.
Yeah.
But I'm in the trenches trying to figure that out.
Okay.
How am I going to stop the cycle of having to completely close down
Yeah.
and completely reopen, because that is exhausting. PCS season is exhausting.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you don't know what you don't know. So our very first PCS cycle, we actually lived in 4 states in 1 year. So I do not regret shutting it down
Yeah.
at all. I think that there are seasons in which going on, putting things on pause like
Yeah.
that, and tending to your family are much more important.
Absolutely.
And there are different things like behind the scenes type um, professional development, personal development that you can be working on. So you might not be generating a revenue during that time, but you can definitely be working still.
Yeah, you're making the
But
investment.
right, but this time around, my brain's already going, because I'm almost taking it as like, okay, this is a puzzle for me and a problem for me. This is a problem for many military
For
spouses
sure.
too. Can I figure out loopholes. Like there's got
Oh, you're
to
going to
be, there's
solve
got to be
it for
for
everybody
military
else.
spouses, there is a way to solve the problem, and I'm going to figure it out. So,
Well, if
I
anybody can
definitely,
do it, it'll be
I've
you.
been I've been picking people's brains because there are people that have come before, of course, before me, you know, that like are doing things that are working. But I would say that, like right now, I am trying to look into the temporary options of drop shipping because there are drop shipping companies that will print on demand and just for a season. Because
Oh,
I love the
okay.
handmade part. I love
Yeah.
making my products,
Yeah. Okay.
but or selling digital products or yeah. So my brain's already going. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure it out.
Good. Well, and maybe we could like encourage everybody to order what you're going to need for a couple of months so we can give
Right.
Ashlee some time to PCS and unpack her boxes.
Yes.
Um, okay, so another thing too is I know you're managing a business, you're managing four children
Mhm.
and a house, and your husband's Army, which my husband's not Army, but we do ministry with Army, and I know that that means that he is gone. He's either
Mhm.
deployed or up in the field or at National Training Center. So how
Yeah.
do you manage the business with also all the other things you're managing with, oh, by the way, your spouse is deployed or
Right.
gone or TDY?
Yeah. I have to say I've had to actually navigate that a lot more recently. Within the past few months. He's had a few times where he's gone TDY, not super long, but still,
Hmm.
you know, in a work week or weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and I really have to say that there are different, you're, the most important things, they must remain the most important things. So your family, my taking care of my kids, I should have actually said probably taking care of myself first. Taking care
Yeah.
of myself is the most important
Yeah.
thing because if I don't, it's going to cause the friction and tension in the home within myself. And then when I come back to work again, you know, or whatever, like go full speed, I'm either going to be already burnt out, or I'm just probably gonna, I would just feel
Yeah.
badly because I know that it is important. The business is going to be there. Like people are going to be there, and especially I would say, I say that very generally, but I say that within our community as well. That this is one of the most supportive communities. I put my money on it. Most
Absolutely.
supportive communities that you can be a
Yeah.
part of. And so if I say, hey, I'm going to have to close down for like 2 weeks because, you know, I'm going to be flying solo, I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to be there.
Actually, they might want to buy their product more
Right.
from you because they get it
Get your
and
products
they
in.
appreciate your vulnerability, which
Yes.
I know that's one of the things that I try to do and tried to do when we were on active duty is be willing to say, I don't have it all
Yeah.
together and I need some
Yeah.
help. Here's the flag. Because I feel like military spouses are super
Of course.
capable. We're amazing people, but we are also human.
Hmm.
And we have to be willing to let other people in and admit that we don't, we're not perfect. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that. That's great wisdom. And I love that you're sharing like
Like, it's
keep your
okay to take a
priorities straight and
pause.
take care of yourself. Because like, here's the thing. If you're not taking care of yourself,
Hmm.
you can't take care of the kids, you can't take care of the business, and your husband can't even do his mission very
Yep.
well. Because if he's getting phone calls saying, hey, like things are going down at home,
Hmm.
he can't take care of you. So it's really good wisdom. And even if you don't have your own business out there and you're listening in, and maybe you have like a dream of having your own business one day, still consider this. You have to take care of, my priorities is God, myself, my spouse, my
Hmm.
children, and then everything else.
Yep.
And the world tells us not to have those priorities to get them out of mix.
Correct.
So
Yes. And it
I
doesn't work that
wanted,
way. It topples.
yeah. So I wanted to, I didn't have this when we first started, but this is one of Ashlee's shirts that I absolutely
That
love.
is.
And it is so soft, you guys. It's so soft and it's such a pretty color. It's just so unique. Like you can't buy a shirt this color most of the time. So I really love it.
Thank
So I
you.
just wanted to share that. I know you have it's so cool to see like you got your merch
I do.
behind
Yes. It's all, I've got a bunch of racks
I
behind
love
me.
that about the videos that you do because I'm like, oh, like she literally does make
Yes.
t-shirts right
I'm
there.
literally
So
doing it. All the things.
yeah.
It's me.
Okay, well, I think that was it. Do you just have any closing thoughts?
I actually do. I was sitting
Yeah,
here and I'm like, actually, I have something to say. I hope
yeah,
I have time. So
yeah,
I, you know, I hear a lot of talk, I guess, around the business space about like limiting beliefs and things like that. And the truth of the matter is, for military spouses, we do have like a crazy boundary lines. It's like sometimes it feels like we're like stuck in a box of, like based on our, husband's work or spouse's work schedule, or our PCS timeline, things like that. But I would say that we were picked, whether you believe that or not, we were picked and designed to be living this life. Like this is the life we are supposed to be
Absolutely.
living
I
as
believe that.
as a family. And so I would just love to encourage anybody who is a military spouse that is looking to jump into entrepreneurship to think of think of that box as a blessing for the use of your time,
Yes.
because you can leverage it to become more innovative, and you will be
Yes.
able to decide what is for you and what is not for you.
Mhm.
um so yeah, just this life is actually, it's really really hard, and you can't forget that part, but it's actually really great. And I really do think that it's a blessing for many of us if we really choose to kind of look up and look for where those blessings are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I love to talk about that too. Like, you have an opportunity to influence so many
hmm
people, way more than people in the civilian workforce, and influence them for good. And this
hmm
can be an opportunity for you to start a niche business that's
yep
going to cater to those people,
yep
or just maybe the experiences that you've had will help you do another
hmm
niche. So this is super great information, Ashlee. Thank you so much for coming on. I want to tell you guys, go and support Ashlee, because Ashlee loves and supports military spouses. I'm just like, I don't even know Ashlee. We're internet friends, but I'm just such a fan of her because of her authenticity and the way she champions other military spouses. I am going to share your two lists of your top 5 resources. One of them's free, and one of them's you got to pay a
yes,
little bit, and one of them you got to pay a lot of bit.
right.
But I'll be sharing those. And I also have been putting out, I did a bunch of research and found some free resources for military spouses. So I posted a couple on Monday. I'm going to post some more today. So keep following along. I just want to help equip you guys, and help you to see that there is purpose in your life, and there are
hmm
things that you can do. Yes, maybe it's not what you dreamed of when you were a little boy or girl, but there is purpose and you can make a difference. So thank
absolutely.
you so much, Ashlee. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Okay.